Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here to share my views and my experience on continuous planning. So if we start, we normally talk about continuous planning in scope of volatility, which is absolutely right. But the first thing that I wanted to anchor here is that continuous planning will not solve volatility. So volatility exists due to a number of factors, external, market information, innovation, all of that is there. And what continuous planning needs to do is that it needs to be a catalyst for our organizations to be able to react to this volatility. When I think about capacity to react, I think about action readiness. And when I think about this, I think about a couple of things. One of them is visibility. So if you think about continuous planning, that should be a way of getting quicker and more efficient visibility of what's ahead of us. This can come particularly important if we are close to major events. For instance, it comes to my mind a situation of an earnings release where we want to know how things are going to unfold. So this is one where continuous planning could play an important role. Another one, it's faster decision-making and operational agility. So we want the organization to be able to take decisions in a quick way. And again, here, continuous planning can help us on that. There are also particular situations that come to my mind from my experience. One of them, for instance, we can link it back to a launch of a product. So if we are in the early days of launching a product, we've been through that. We know that things can be volatile at that moment, and it's very important early on to be able to take the right decisions if we need to course correct something. And again, using the right KPIs to input to our continuous planning process can be really a way of telling us how things are going to evolve in the near future, and how then we can take decisions to course correct whatever needs to be course corrected. The other aspect that I think on when I think about action readiness is about continuous planning also offering us outcome ranges and ability to play with different scenarios. If we do that, we're going to basically increase our flexibility to be able to react. So in essence, what I wanted to, just to recap, the first thing is, let's think about continuous planning as a way to enable us to be well reactive to the volatility environment that we have. The second thing I wanted us to anchor on, moving on, is about process efficiency. So if we move on, probably more than any other planning process or methodology that we have, continuous planning is one that needs to be highly efficient. When I think about efficiency of continuous planning, I think about three things that influence that: process, technology, and culture and mindset. When we think about process, a couple of things for us to keep in mind that can really influence how we do it. First of all, focus on what matters. So not everything moves the needle in the same way in our businesses, and focusing on the ones that really do is going to be very important to have an efficient process for continuous planning. The next one is dramatically simplification, and dramatically, I think it's an important word here. The process needs to be extremely simple. And I think that one of the things that we need to keep in mind here is you should not try to put your yearly planning process that you have into shorter time frames or into more frequent updates. The other one is make sure that the process loops back quickly as feedback to the organization. When I think about technology, it comes pretty obvious. You need to make sure that you have technology and systems to support your planning process. But you need to use it to the right level. So there is a lot of, you know, that whenever you have systems, there's a lot of functionalities, bells and whistles that you have, but you need to know which ones you need to use on a continuous planning process. Probably simpler than any other ones that you use. Leverage algorithms and focus on events, algorithms to automate as much as possible so that you can focus on events. and be sure that you have good quality data and efficient data flows. Culture and mindset is one that probably we don't think too much about normally, but it's as much important as the other ones. And here it's basically let the process be true to itself and let the process talk. Take the politics out. So don't negotiate your outcomes. Rather, be sure that you have an action mindset within the organization that will help you to trigger the right discussions on which actions to take. I think that if we have these three in mind, we can drive efficiency of the process. But what I wanted to focus on as well, if we move on, is that there is a very thin line between process efficient and helping the organization to be reactive, to actually driving complexity and bureaucracy through the continuous planning process. And here, just few watch outs. Be sure that the continuous planning process that you have, it's fit for your purpose. Again, remember that it does not solve volatility. It should be the mechanism to address it. And the reality is that if it's not well managed, it will just add complexity. And it's given the type of process that you have here in terms of continuous planning, it's very easy that it starts to consume organizational time and resources and actually hinders the responsiveness rather than giving it. So what I wanted to conclude, if we move on, just the final remark from my side, is that it's not rocket science if you actually want to start to test it and if you want to start to use it. And here, I just wanted to leave you with a few simple remarks that, if you keep them in mind, can be actually a good starting basis for you. First of all is we need to understand where continuous planning will fit in your current planning cycles. So what I want to say here is that we should not just add another planning process, rather we need to evolve the ones that we have. Start simple. I've talked about this before, but just want to reiterate. Select a few variables that really move the needle and start with those. Over time, you can evolve to more complex things, but start simple. Ensure that the outcome will have a quick visibility to whoever are the decision bodies in your organization. And last but not least, make sure that you have the right support and the right advocacy from your senior management. Having this sponsorship is very important so that you can kick it off, and then make sure that you communicate the benefits of it to the organization. So in essence, and as a final message from my side, it's possible to start it with small steps. You have the ability to do it, but always keep its purpose in mind. And here I go back to the first thing I wanted to anchor. Continuous planning needs to be your enabler for the organization to react quickly to volatility. And here I would basically pause for any comments from my colleagues.